Hello everybody, my name is Benji, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Now, you may be looking at this and wondering one of two things. A, what the heck is all this stuff? And B, where the heck was the recap video after last week's stream? And the answer to those are, I've been playing Factorio Space Age, because Satisfactory would not exist if Space Age did not exist. Or rather, not Space Age, but if Factorio did not exist. And Factorio just recently released their 2.0 update, which has a bunch of bug fixes, a bunch of new content, a bunch of new materials, new things, and their DLC, Space Age, which is the same price as the base game. So if you bought the base game for $30, and it's now $35, then you can buy Space Age for $35 and have, like, 3 times the time worth of content. And just real quick to wrap up my spiel about Factorio Space Age, I have beaten the game in less than 5 hours, and my first playthrough was 140 hours. It has taken me 20 hours of taking my time to get to the new content in a new playthrough because of all the quality of life stuff and everything else that I've been taking the time to experience, and it has been phenomenal. Best 20 hours of my life, it's great. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today, we are here to talk about Red Heaven, which you're currently looking at. And you may be looking at that and going, wow, none of this was here last time. And yeah, no, that's true. That's because I was stupid and I didn't record a video. So we're going to go through an entire process. Don't mind the fact that everything is floating right now. I'm going to fix that later. But we're going to go through the entire process of explaining this bad boy bit by bit by bit by bit. And it all starts with the magic of the train entrance. And the train entrance, let me get rid of my little mode there, get the HUD back. The train entrance is just beautiful, in my personal opinion. I know I built it, so, like, I'm biased, but that is picture-worthy. And I love the ever-living hell out of it. It's phenomenal. But really, what it starts with are these trains, and with this oil. So, first of all, a lot of this is subject to change, don't worry about it, but these two trains are going to be the bread and butter workforce of this entire build. One of them is bringing in sulfur, the other one is bringing in coal, and then we've got our oil coming in via these pipelines, which I really love these encased pipeline design things that I ended up doing here. I really like this a lot. And the transition from, like, the scaffolded pipeline that goes out and harvests all the oil into the actual stuff of, like, the main base, I like that a lot. So these two bring in sulfur and coal, and we'll talk about the control room in a minute. Actually, we'll talk about the control room now, because I can't keep a straight thought. The control room has a little, little walkway here, just a tiny little itty-bitty walkway here, that you come up, and we've got some power switches for the different parts of the power plant. We've got the compacted coal, which is a switch, the heavy oil residue, which also controls the sinking of the byproduct. We'll talk about that in a second. The diluted fuel, and then the turbo fuel. We have our exit here into the power augment, which is phenomenal. And later on, because of this, belt input here, we might end up putting a drone port on top of the roof right there, and bringing in the alien power matrix or whatever. Also, yeah, that's a problem. Max consumption, 20,000. Max production, 12,000. That's not great. That's why we built this place. That's why all of this exists. Wow, that's gorgeous. So then the first step happens, and the first step is 2 steps, step A and step B. So step 1A is all the compacted coal. So we have 960 coming in on 2 480 belts, and it is perfect splitting, as you can see here. It is, in fact, perfect splitting, to go into and make 960 compacted coal per minute. 960 compacted coal is also perfect merging, merges all together into 2 belts of 480 compacted coal, and goes on down the line. We'll get to that later. So that's step 1A. Step 1B is right here. Step 1B is all of these refineries making heavy oil residue and polymer resin. There are 18 of them. And then I also, really quickly here, would like to place in my thing. Here's my 7. Would like to place in a valve here for easy control of the flow pipeline. Because I connected it accidentally at one point and it started actually making stuff, and that was bad. So the oil comes in, gets stopped there for now. We'll eventually turn that on, open the spigot. Then all of the polymer resin comes down along the line. It's 360 in total, and it perfectly splits, which is what this all is, and gets sunk into fabric. And then the fabric goes into a sink, because we need coupons. We need lots and lots of coupons if we want the gold nut statue, which is an achievement. So that is step... That's step 1B. And that is all controlled by the 2 switches up there. One for the compacted coal, the other for the heavy oil residue and the sinking and the water extractors. Then, step 2 is diluted fuel in blenders. And you'll notice blenders do aluminum. That's what that platform up in the sky is. So we'll talk about that here. We're going a little out of order because I'm excited about Red Heaven. But down under the platform here, we've got some water extractors for the sinkage, and then some water extractors for the diluted fuel. Water and heavy oil residue combine in these blenders in order to make diluted fuel from the heavy oil residue and the water. So it's like the packager loop without the packager loop needing to happen, and that's great. And so we get 4 pipes of 360 fuel coming out here and then coming along this line. You can see it's kind of like fluid settling a little bit. It doesn't quite know what to do because it's not actually being used. Then the compacted coal, each one of these pipes and half of a belt of compacted coal come together in the refineries to make our turbo fuel. There are 64 refineries, 4 rows of 16, which is absolutely insane. And they have their own power switch. Then they all go into these bad boys, these lovely, lovely, fluid tanks over here so that I can roll them. And then actually, where am I going to put the control for these? I'll put them right here. A little bit of an occupational hazard. But we want to close these for now because of the fact that we want it to buffer itself a little bit. That's what these giant fluid tanks are for. We want it to buffer itself just a little itty-bitty bit before we send it off to these generators. Each floor of generators, by the way, is 20 generators. That harkens back to the old Orange Heaven days. But each of these generator floors is 20 generators that are fully overclocked. Is fully overclocked, or not fully, but 100% over, 200%, so 100% more than normal, which makes them output twice as much power for twice the cost of the input fluid, and that just happens to work out that we are going for. Also, noticed it. That's supposed to. There we go. Much better. So yeah, overall, this is going to be making us 40,000 megawatts of power, which is great, because currently we're using 20,000, or our max consumption is 20,000, and that's only going to go up with our plans, which I'll talk about next. But that's Red Heaven. I can't wait to turn this thing on, but we have a little bit of work that we have to do in the meantime. Number 1 is there's a pure sulfur node right there. We're grabbing that with this train that I set up at the end of stream. There's another sulfur node here that we're going to get. There's a bunch of coal nodes right here that we're going to get. And then there's one more sulfur node way down here in the bottom that we're going to go get. So the train line is going to continue and meet up somewhere along here, because it's also going to come through the cave and meet up here. And then that's also here. So a little bit of a meet cute happening there. And then this is going to go all the way down and then around and then go and grab the sulfur node finally down in there. And it'll probably also end up going, like, this will be a 4-way intersection because it'll go down, and then it'll also go this way because there's a cave here that I want to go up and get the uranium from later, and that's a whole bunch of plans for the later time. So that's all stuff that Benji is hopefully going to do off camera. Off camera, Benji is going to take care of all that nonsense that's happening. And then we get to take care of all the fun stuff on stream, aka turning on Red Heaven. Now, the only other thing that we did on stream that I have not yet covered in an actual video is our overall aluminum production. And that's also going to be the next plan that ends up happening after Red Heaven's completion. We are going to go through and upgrade our aluminum processing facility. And that's going to entail a couple of things, but I just want to take us up the train spiral here because I love train spirals so much. And now that I have the hover pack, I can actually make it look good. It's also going to be a really important thing. But that's kind of something that's going to happen in the meantime, in the in-between of stream. And yeah, no, it's large. it's very large. And I always forget just how large the train spiral is. But basically, the philosophy behind the train spiral is being able to have trains going up and down in the same location from one another and not in a straight line, so that we can have verticality without horizontality. I think that's a word. And also the up should always be the outside, because the outside is less steep than the inside, and it's harder for trains to go up steep curves. It takes more power, it takes more time, it's stupid. So we don't want to do that, which is why the outside is always the up, and the inside is the down. Also, the down goes really, really, really fast if you're fully accelerating the entire time, which is also fun. You can see we've also got a couple of intersections and stuff up here. Probably wasn't necessary to do the straight there, but whatever. And this is our aluminum facility. So, up here in the aluminum facility, what's going on? What's the matter with you guys? Coal? Now, is coal a problem? Did I not overclock it? I might not have overclocked it. That could be a problem. Well, we will figure that out. We will definitely figure that out. But basically what's going on here is water is getting harvested down at the bottom. It comes up, it does all the things. That's wrong. That's the wrong height, but whatever. And then bauxite also comes in. So there's a pure node over there. There's another pure node over there. You can't really see it. There it is. There's the pure node. And those both come in, and then they merge together, and then they do perfect splitting, and then water has its perfect splitting things and all that stuff, like the flow valves, and there's flow valves over here to make sure that it's the proper ratio, and then it's also feeding into the top, because the top water gets priority, so I'm pretty sure that's how the fluids work, and that makes alumina solution and silica. The silica goes down at the end and merges the rest of the silica in order to, silica heavy, and then the alumina solution combines with coal to make aluminum scrap. And this makes us 480 aluminum ingots per minute, given the ratios of it. And then that goes off to the main base and does a whole bunch of stuff, and the quartz gets delivered in by a train. Now, the thing that we're going to do that makes the aluminum better is this recipe right here. It's called instant scrap. And instant scrap is really good because of the ratio between bauxite and aluminum scrap. Whereas here, you know, we get, let me see if I can remember the math here. It's a 1-to-1 on the alumina solution, and then it's a 4-to-6, so it's a 2-to-3 bauxite to scrap, which this is a 1-to-2, so a 2-to-4, so it's better. Basically, it's better. It needs a little bit more coal, which isn't that big of a deal. Sulfuric acid, which is sulfur, which is a big deal, but not really. And then water. And it gives water as a byproduct, but less water than it needs. However, but if we look at the recipe for sulfuric acid, it's a 1-to-1 water and sulfur to sulfuric acid, which means that this water can loop back into the sulfuric acid and be great. We just have to fill up a buffer first. So using that and 960, I think it's 960, I don't have my numbers up at the moment. I think it's 960 bauxite per minute, which we're gonna get by overclocking that guy, and also getting a normal node, which is like somewhere over there, somewhere. Getting all of that together, plus the coal node that's over there, and another pure coal node that's like right through that gap. We're going to be able to get all of the coal we need. Water is free because sippy drink late. Bauxite is taken care of, and quartz is basically free because of the stop that we have in the cave way over there. There's also some in a cave right here that we're going to grab as we scoot through that area. So we're going to have a bunch of quartz coming into here, and it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be great. We're going to love it. And then in the rest of this area, we're going to have a shit ton of blenders, a shit ton of refineries, and a shit ton of constructors and foundries making the quartz and the bauxite required to get us 1,280 aluminum ingots per minute, which is nuts, absolutely crazy. But we need all of that because we're going to be building our aluminum facility all the way over here. And I can't necessarily describe why, because I don't have the Satisfactory calculator or my notes up right now. But essentially, there's a bunch of caterium over here, a bunch of quartz over here, or something like that, a bunch of copper here, which is the main important part, some sulfur over here, some limestone here and here, some coal here, and some iron here, give or take, is like the rough estimate of like where all the stuff is, right? So that gives us everything that we need to build a shit ton of stuff. Then, because of our oil facility that we're doing right here, oh wow, look at that. It tells me that there are Mercer spheres in the area. Did not know that about radar towers. That's pretty cool. Because of the fact that we have all of our oil processing happening here, what we can do is bring the oil and rubber, input it here, or the plastic and rubber, input it here. Then there's some nitrogen gas here and here that we're also going to be pulling in for stuff like fused modular frames, heat sinks, turbo motors, etc. And we're going to have all of that coming in. And then with the aluminum coming in from where we're currently at right now, those three imports, plus all of the local in-situ materials, we can actually make all of the good stuff. And by all the good stuff, I really do just mean control units, you know, supercomputers, which I don't even have unlocked. I do have unlocked. Don't have the alternate that we're going to use for this. So, yeah, radio control unit, supercomputers, batteries. We've got the classic battery, which is great. We're going to love that. And then a couple of other things that I can't really think of off the top of my head. But it's a lot, and we're going to do a lot, and it's going to be great. And the reason why we're doing that in a different part of the world than our main base is because my FPS here, when I'm streaming, is dipping below 30, and that's a problem. That's a very big problem. Obviously, you can see, you know, it's not having any moment, because of the fact that I'm just recording, so actually streaming is what does it. You can see I turned down like my render distance and everything to make things a little smoother, which is helping as well. But yeah, no, off-camera Benji is going to go through and grab the sulfur, the coal, and all the other good stuff. Also is going to go sort out whatever the hell this problem is. And then on-camera Benji is going to start the red heaven and turn that on so that we no longer have power problems, and then probably just upgrade the aluminum. I think that'll be the happening on that particular. So yeah, that's going to be it for now. Oh, look, it's popping into existence. That's going to be it for now. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. But without further ado, adios, sayonara, au revoir, hasta la vista, das vidania, wiedersehen, ciao, and goodbye. Please have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Get some sleep if you need to. Don't forget to stay hydrated. This stream is in the bag, or well, this video is in the bag. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. So yeah. Later, y'all.